All right, welcome to the Kenny Pickett Show on Panther-Lair.com, presented by WellHive. I'm Chris Peak from Panther-Lair.com. He's Kenny Pickett from Pitt Football. And Kenny, we made it. I feel like we talked to you all through training camp. Here it is, finally, the first game week of the season. We're taping this on Monday, so it really is the start of the game week. All through camp, you kind of told us what the sort of dog days of summer were like, the day-to-day there. What's it like now that you're in the season? What does a week look for you guys as you get ready for actual games?
Yeah, I mean, this being the first week, it's a little different, because Sundays it's usually, clean up from the mistakes from the previous game, watch that film, and then you kind of close that out and move on to the next game. Now, since we didn't have a game to watch, yesterday we had a light practice, kind of getting a head start on UMass and getting the base plan in. Today is a big meet and film day, going for a few hours, get the game plan. See what we really want to do going into practice that are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then travel Friday to the hotel and play on Saturday. So, it's a pretty good schedule, pretty good routine. And once you start, getting the hang of it, it goes by pretty quick.
I can imagine. What's a course load look like for you guys in the fall, or for you this fall? What kind of, how many classes are you taking?
Yeah, it's light. I only have to take 3 classes, which is 9 credits. Majority of the guys take, a lighter class load in the fall versus spring, just because of how busy we are with practice and preparation for games.
Do they try to, like the advisors try and give you more classes over the summer in order to get you a kind of a lighter load in the fall? Is that sort of the plan there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're only allowed to take 6 credits in the summer unless you can go as per, if you want to plan on graduating, if you need 9 in the summer. I think guys have done that in the past where they can request that. But really, your whole career here, you'll be able to take summer courses. So, in the fall, it just allows you to go a little bit less, and you can increase it more in the spring if you want.
I forget. Did you graduate last year? Or did you graduate in the spring? Or
yeah, last year, yeah.
Nice, congratulations. All right. Well, looking ahead here, season opener at Heinz Field, 4:00 on Saturday. UMass coming in. Just without getting too deep into game plans or anything like that, your overall thoughts on UMass? I mean, what are you seeing out of them just when you looked at their defense on film?
Yeah, it's first games are always tough, just personnel wise, and I'd say it's a little bit tougher with UMass because they have like 17, I think, total transfers that are coming in this year for them. So they got a lot of different guys that are coming in. I'm sure a lot of guys that are going to, impact early and get in there and play a lot. So schematically, I can, have a pretty good gauge on what they did last year and, what their D coordinator likes to run. Personnel is where it's a little bit tricky. I'll watch guys from where they were at previously just to get a feel on how they play and how they like to play. So I'm excited. I think we have a really good plan heading into this one. Got into the practice a little bit last week, but I'm excited to get out there at Heinz again.
Is there any of the transfers that either from before or that you played against before?
Yeah, Bryce Watts grew up. Actually, we were on the same 8th grade all-star team that went down and played in Florida, so we played together. He was on Virginia Tech. I don't think he played against us in 2018. I think he might have been hurt that game. So this will be the first time we're playing against each other since we were 13, I want to say. So, yeah. So he's definitely a familiar face.
Now, the fans think it's funny to call this game the Mark Whipple Revenge Bowl. Is he giving you guys any pep talks? Come on, guys. He doesn't strike me as the pep talk type, but is he, give you a little win one for me type of thing?
No. I don't think anyone's really thinking about that. We just want to go out there and get the win. So we're just focused on, having a really good week of practice here.
Sure. Now, like I said, we're taping this on Monday, and big news that came out today. They released the 2-deep for the first time. And, among fans, media, it's not, I don't want to say it's a joke, but it's kind of funny sometimes to compare what actually happens on Saturday with the depth chart they release on Monday. The two don't always line up. For you guys on the team, though, I mean, do you ever look at the depth chart? Do guys ever look at the depth chart that actually gets released to the public and pay much attention to it? I mean, does that ever resonate in the locker room at all?
To be not to my knowledge, I'm sure it kind of stays within the rooms of each position group. But everyone knows where they're going to fall. It's not a surprise to anybody, at the end of camp. Everyone knows who's going to play. Pretty much everyone has a good idea what their role is and what they're going to be asked to do this year. So I don't think there's too much of, a conversation going on. And listen, at the end of the day, I just make guys practice harder and want to get after it. So I think it's all good things at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to think back. There's a few freshmen that showed up on the 2-deep this year, mostly as backups. I was trying to think back to 2017. I don't think you were listed on the depth chart until Max Brown got hurt. Is that right? Do you remember?
Probably, yeah, that would make sense. I mean, I was on the scout team for the first 6 weeks of the season, so yeah,
Right.
I wasn't on there until that after that Syracuse game.
Right. I think, yeah, you probably showed up on there probably as like an or backup or something like that. Do
Yep.
you recall, as I started thinking about that, I kind of was thinking about the end of that season, the Virginia Tech game. I think there was a plan going into that you were going to get in at a certain point, maybe the second quarter, that third drive, whatever it was. But what about the week between Virginia Tech and Miami? What do you remember about that? I forget how they listed the depth chart. I think Coach Narduzzi might have come out and said Kenny's going to be our starter. But what do you remember about that week? I mean, was it full blown competition like you had seen in camp between Max and Ben, or what are you as you think back on that week? I know it was 4 years ago, but what do you remember?
Yeah, I think coming off that Virginia Tech game, I played pretty, decent, played pretty well. So I don't know I don't even know if they released it to the public. I want to remember just my family and friends knowing that I was starting. I mean, everyone on the team knew I was starting too. They kind of announced it to us, and I was taking all the one reps. So that was really just like we knew that I was the guy going in there to play that game and start. So I was pretty like penciled in as a starter, and was going through the practice, getting the one reps and throwing with the receivers. I really didn't get a chance to throw with that much throughout that whole entire year, being on scout team and being with the twos majority of it. So, like I said, everyone really has a good idea of where they fall, and you'll get the reps that you need in practice with the guys you're going to be playing with.
Yeah, I guess like there's the depth chart, but then anybody who's attended a practice, they'll say ones are up or twos are up, right? And so
Yeah,
guys kind of know before practice what group they're going to be in. It doesn't seem like
right.
there would be too many surprises out of it. Any pregame rituals you have before the season? I mean, anything are you superstitious at all, or do you have anything like that you'll do every, you always, I don't know, put on your clothes with your right hand or something like that on game day or something weird?
No, I'm not really. I'm a big like routine guy with my warm up. I would say is my warm up stays, like it's the same every single time. I'd say maybe that's the only thing I eat. So like the pregame meal is always the same, and I always just go with steak sauce and pasta, no matter what time the game is. So maybe that's the only one. But that I don't know why I did it my freshman year, and ever since then, it's just like I'm always just so excited to eat that because it's so good before the game.
What did you say? Steak sauce and pasta?
Sorry. Meat sauce
Oh,
and pasta.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
That all right. That makes. I was
yeah,
picturing you. You almost started like you would have become an internet like not celebrity, whatever the
no,
opposite is.
yeah,
If you
no,
put
that'd be weird.
A1
That'd
on,
be
yeah, if you put A1
weird.
on penne or something, they wouldn't let you back into New Jersey. I think would probably be
No, yeah, it'd be close off.
all right. Every week, Kenny, we take questions from the Pit fans on Panther-Lair.com, and we like to ask them to you. We obviously moderate them a little bit, but I thought this was an interesting question from DK 16,000 says, what quarterback skill is the most difficult to perfect? Is it adding overall physical strength, reading defenses, keeping your composure under pressure, building relationships with your teammates, putting touch on a pass? I think what has been the most difficult thing for you to adapt and improve at over the years? And what do you see kind of young quarterbacks struggle with the most when they get into college?
Yeah, I mean, I would say obviously the talent needs to be there, and the arm strength, the accuracy, the ability has to be there. I don't think, I mean, you wouldn't be at this level if the coaches didn't say that you had that ability. So I'll just go off of something. I mean, that's huge for quarterbacks. I would just say the mental aspect of the game, mastering the playbook, and also mastering defenses and coverages, and being able to go out there and play fast. I think that's what majority of quarterbacks struggle. When they get to this level, because obviously there's a lot more defenses than you see in high school. So I would say the mental aspect of it is probably the biggest one.
I mean, is it possible to watch too much film in the week heading into a game? Like watch too much film of an opponent?
I would say, I mean, I had that problem. I would say my sophomore year, I had way too many pages of notes, and I didn't streamline the information that I was getting when I was, watching film. I just had too much information going out there into the game, and I wasn't able to play fast. And, the Manning camp really helped me with that, talking with Peyton and how he prepared. And I told him my issues was with, having too much stuff. And, he just kind of helped give me tips on how to streamline that, and just, just go out there and play. And, recognize what I see from the film study, and then, taking advantage of it. So there's definitely a kind of a balance you need to have of overdoing it and, having just the right amount. So it took me some time to kind of master, film studying over the years.
Is that something you communicated with Coach Whipple when he came in then after, in 2019? Did you guys talk about that, what you perceived to be an issue?
Yeah, absolutely. I did. And we watch a ton of film together. so he really helped me, as well, on top of, Peyton's tips. And, I came up, it's really not mine. It kind of just took Coach Whip's way and Peyton's way and kind of molded it into what I like to do and how I like to watch film prepare. And I have a pretty good system of it. So I feel good with that.
Question from Dort is, going into your last year at Pitt, what individually do you want to improve on for this year and for the offense as well?
I'd say more explosive and get more explosive touchdowns. I think, we rack up a lot of yards, over these past 2 years with, in Coach Whip's offense. But I think the next step for myself and for the offense, it goes both ways, was just getting more explosive touchdowns and finishing in the red zone. Whether it's taking advantage of one-on-ones and guys taking the ball and finishing, we're not getting tackled inside the 5, inside the 10, and just, finishing those big time plays. I think we'll really just take it. That's what I think we're lacking right now. That's the next step that, we need to go out there and show this season.
You mentioned the red zone. That's kind of another question here from Pitman 2003. He asks, how will the offense in 2021 score more touchdowns, specifically in the red zone? Because that's been an issue for you guys the last few years. Touchdown percentage, points per red zone possession hasn't been all that high. I've sort of had the opinion that maybe it's because the running game hasn't been as effective the last 2 years. You put a lot of it on that you guys haven't been more effective at running the ball, or what do you put as maybe the main issue in the red zone there?
That's a big piece of the red zone. You have to be able to run the ball down there. Throwing the football becomes, the closer you get, it becomes increasingly more difficult because you run out of space. The windows are a lot smaller. Timing is, a huge issue. So if you have a good play action game down there, if you can, if I can get outside the pocket, do some different things and utilize the matchups that I think we're going to have this year, I think we'll be a lot more successful. And then you add the run game to it. So, it's all things that we've been working really hard on.
Mm-hmm. And then this question from Bill Stat is, does Kenny or any other Pitt player read the Panther-Lair.com forums or hear about comments or threads? And I would expand that out to social media in general. But I mean, message boards, I know parents oftentimes are on these kinds of message boards. What about players? I mean, do you ever hear it in the locker room like, hey, this guy said this on that message board or something like that?
I hope not, man. I hope not. I know there's some crazy people that I'm sure are on those boards. I hope our guys aren't going to read them. I know social media is a big thing for guys during the season, but it's big just to turn that off and really not pay attention to it because everyone has an opinion out there. Everyone's an expert, and if everyone's a Hall of Fame coach on Twitter, it's a crazy world. But no, I don't think any of our guys do. I really hope they don't. And they just focus on playing well and improving every week.
You, I feel like it was a few years ago. You said you deleted Twitter at least during the season. Have you done that every year since then? Are you doing that again this year?
Yeah, I did it my first year. I'll just have the app. I just don't go on it. Turn off the notifications. Turn everything off. So it's pretty much the same thing. There's just some things I have with my friends that I like to keep on there, and so I can keep in contact with them, just sending each other stuff during the week. But it's nice to have just for that purpose of it. That's really the only reason why I'll keep it.
I feel like one of the wild things, I mean, like you said, you can read some crazy things on there, but it's one thing if a guy is on a message board talking all this stuff, but on Twitter, they can get your username and directly, you know what I mean? Either through direct message or direct, or just in a tweet, they can tag you in it and sort of directly communicate with you, which I think has a lot of downside to it. Is it hard to not look at that stuff? I mean, do you see other guys struggle with that kind of thing of getting too caught up seeing people tagging them, or I guess maybe like, does it surprise you sometimes when you see what people are willing to say, not necessarily face to face, but tagging an athlete in a tweet and really kind of getting pretty negative?
To be honest, nothing surprised me anymore from what I've seen over my career and the things that people have sent me and tagged me in. And, people are just crazy because, and none of those things have ever been said to my face, or I've never seen anyone say anything along those lines to anybody's face in this game that, outside the stadium or, it's amazing how different, it is when you're in person versus, behind a screen online. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's a great thing. People take advantage of it, and it is what it is, but it's part of the game now. It's part of, playing on this level. It's just what you got to deal with. But I say I've matured, and throughout my career, I kind of have a pretty good handle on, just how to handle, like I just said, turn off the notifications. Really don't care about it. Because obviously that's the highlight of those people's weeks or days, being able to reach out and trying to talk bad to you. And it's a strange, there's some strange people out there for sure.
So are you saying that at midseason we can do one of those like Jimmy Fallon kind of segments of Kenny Pickett reads mean tweets about Kenny Pickett? Or
mean tweets? Yeah, you could get some laughs out of that. That'd be good.
I don't know. I feel like we probably have to have a lot of discretion on which tweets we pick for the mean tweet segment. But all right, Kenny. Well, hey, listen, have a good week of practice. We appreciate your time as always, and good luck on Saturday against UMass.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.